What's going on, everybody? Welcome to another episode of the Commercial Real Estate Blueprint Podcast. It doesn't seem like I've been gone because we've been posting podcasts consistently, but I've been out the last 3 weeks or so because my wife and I had our fourth baby. So we're super excited about that. It's been fun just hanging out with my kids and hanging out with my wife. And it's been a good time. Jesse's been crushing it, filling in for me while I've been out and doing a bunch of stuff. I passed the baton to him in the middle of a crazy time. So we're excited to get back on here and kind of just do another update podcast. But what's going on, man?
Dude, it's been insane the last few weeks. I really feel like the first couple of weeks is like, this is so much because we were supposed to have closed. Our duplex keeps getting extended. We were supposed to close a 5-unit flex deal we found in the Triad. That got pushed back 3 weeks because of a city violation. So there's a bunch of stuff going back with the city and the seller and back and forth and a lot of heated exchanges. And we had a couple other brokerage deals supposed to close. All of those got extended with environmental issues, with CapEx issues, seller credit stuff, bad titles, bad boundaries. It's literally been an insane last 3 weeks. Graham's missed out on a lot of fun.
Yeah. I don't envy you, but I've been through it, dude, with transactions. I feel like that's just like a lesson in real estate. It's like, I don't think there's ever been an easy transaction.
Yeah.
There is always something that comes up. Always. Like if you think, oh, this is easy, I'm just going to close this deal. And if it's the brokerage side, get a commission, or if it's the acquisition side, just close this deal and it's going to be good. No, never. Literally never. Actually, the only easy ones we've had is the ones we've bought and we're the buyer. Mm-hmm. Because we're not like, not that buyers are bad, but you know what I'm saying? Like, we know we try to go into it and just get the deal done. But anyways, yeah, it's been a wild ride. Some of our goals, as we talked about in an earlier podcast this year, was to add, $10,000 of cash flow each. So
yeah,
I guess at the end of like Q4 of 2025, it's crazy that it's 2026. We had 2 deals under contract, a 5-unit in the Triad area, flex building that we're buying with City Plat, and then we had a 2-unit industrial building in the Triad area that Jesse and I are buying. We were selling the duplex we first partnered on to do a 1031 into this building. Well, the duplex we were closing on, we literally went to the table, signed all the papers. We're talking about how we were so sad to sell it, but excited about exchanging. And right before closing, the lender was like, no, we need, X, Y, and Z to be done. And it's been just an ongoing process. It's literally been 3 months, I believe, which isn't crazy.
Yeah.
And we were supposed to close today. We just got a text right before I started filming this podcast saying, oh, the soonest we can do it is in a week from now. We're like, it's just insane. But kind of going back to the note of nothing goes to plan.
Nope.
And real estate's always changing. But anyways, once we can hopefully sell this duplex, we will then close on our 2-unit that we're buying. We already closed on the 5-unit, which is pretty awesome. That was a building. I think this is something we've talked about before, but for the listeners, I just want to reiterate this point. We bought 9 buildings, and 8 of the 9 were seller financing. Mm-hmm. And let's see, 5, now 6, 7 of the 9, I believe, were from the same, or 8 of the 9. 8 of the 9 were for the same seller.
The 7.
Correct? 7?
Two the other 2 were the same seller. Right?
Yeah.
Or is it yeah.
I'm missing one in my head. I can't figure out what the other one is.
But
anyways.
Yeah.
Well, 4 from Star.
Yeah.
Then we got 6 from one seller. And then 2 from the other.
Oh yeah, that's
right.
That's what it was.
Yeah. So 6 buildings came from the same seller, and the other 2 came from the same seller. So 8 of the 9 buildings that we have, which actually we sold out of some, which is something we can talk about too, but are all from the same seller, and they're all seller financing. So it's like, if you can make good relationships with people who have like portfolio owners, that was one of the first things when Jesse started. I was like, hey man, when you're calling on this list, I gave him a list to call, hit these people who own a bunch of properties. And he's done a great job of calling, different people. We have a couple that come to mind that he's developed relationships. One of them he got lunch with last week while I was out. and he's got a great portfolio. And anyways, if you can do that with these sellers and develop relationships with them and just, take it from the point of, hey, I'm trying to build my portfolio. I'm trying to buy this building. I'm trying to buy multiple buildings. I see you have a bunch of these things. I want, let me be your student. Teach me how to do it.
100%.
And then if you do that, that's kind of the angle we took first, not as like, hey, will you sell me your building immediately? We took that angle first, got to know them, became friends with them, spent time with them. And as we did that, it was kind of like, hey, if you want to sell that building, we'll buy it. And then that's kind of what it's like, not a hard sale. It's more of like a slow play. And plus, it's not just, we're trying to get buildings at them. We've learned a tremendous amount from these people who have built portfolios and are doing really well.
Yeah. And they're actively giving us advice on current deals. They're coming to look at our new deals because of like just they're contractors as well by trade. Right. And something that I always like think back on is the building that we just closed on last week. I remember specifically going through the list. I'm like, man, I cannot get a hold of this guy. This is frustrating. Like, this is a great building. Would love to buy this one day. And I was like, just remember, I'm just going to call this guy every single day until he takes my phone call. And one day he finally called me back. We talked for like 30 minutes. We tried to work out a deal, didn't work. And like Graham said, we were like, let's just get lunch with this dude. Let's just get in front of this guy, be in person, show him who we are. We took probably a couple lunch meetings with this guy. And eventually we talked about a different building that he had that we also wanted to buy. We just took the in-person meeting with him, didn't talk about the building. And afterwards we called him and we're like, hey, we want to buy that building. And he's like, I'll do it. And I'll do seller financing for you guys. It just goes to like, I literally had this conversation with Graham probably the day before yesterday. I was talking about like, man, like it seems like we can't find deals right now. We got so many people want to buy deals with us, and we want to buy these deals with them. So it's like frustrating for us too. But it's like, man, these deals take time. And something that Graham had to remind me of. It's like I really want to buy as many buildings as we can, right? Within a little bit of reason, but we're not just going to go out and buy any deal. And I don't suggest anybody do that, right? You only got to buy a deal that makes sense for you and what you can accomplish, whether that's with a partner or yourself or whatever. But I really do feel like good deals take time. And those are the deals you want to keep for the rest of your life too.
For sure. Because like if there's a couple nuggets I can pull out of that, was great. But like one of them is that you said it was really hard to get a hold of that guy.
Yeah.
We had other people in our office trying to call the same building. They didn't get it. We got it, which is sick. And it's because when I learned this from another acquisitions guy, it's like when somebody's harder to reach and you can't find their information, you can't find their contact, that's actually a good sign because most people will try to find them. They won't be able to, they'll stop and they'll give up. But I was talking to this guy who's like, yeah, I'll literally fly out to these places and I'll fly out with no return flight. And I'll go knock on their office door. And if they're not there, I'll stay another day. And they'll keep doing that until they get a hold of the person and get in front of them. And this guy has helped this group by like, I think close to $1 billion in mobile home parks. But I was like, that's the mindset it takes. That's crazy. So that's one thing. The other thing is like he's saying, it just takes time. Like, and since it takes time, that's all the more reason to have your pipeline full. Mm-hmm. Because like a deal we call today or tomorrow, we might not close for a year or two, but when we close it in a year or two, it can make $500,000. Yeah. So it's just like, it's such a long game. It's such delayed gratification. That's hard for people like me and Jesse. We're like, let's get it done and get after it. But it's just an important reminder. So yeah, kind of just general update. We got those two buildings, one closed, one fingers crossed. We're going to close here in the next week or so. And then, that won't get us anywhere near 10,000. It'll probably maybe be 1,500 each or something. That's amazing though. I mean, a couple of years ago, sitting here saying, "Oh, two deals, and we'll make $1,500 extra a month in cash flow." That's like a stupid nice car payment. Not saying we do that, but it could be a mortgage payment or a portion of a mortgage payment. I mean, that's true. That's not nothing. And then also the more important than the cash flow in commercial real estate, it could be hundreds of thousands of dollars in equity. In this case, it will probably be hundreds of thousands of dollars in equity, which is more important in the long run anyways, because in a couple of years we could sell it, we could refinance, whatever it may be. But it's just about stacking these deals.
Yeah.
And, we put numbers to it. Like we want to get this much cash flow. And I was thinking about this morning. We want to get so much cash flow. We want to, get a certain net worth or whatever. I mean, I could care less about that. I care more about the cash flow because it provides for my family, do what I want when I want, like you. But even if we don't get to 10K this year each, or, maybe we only buy these 2 buildings this year, we still bought 2 buildings.
Yep.
And something that Brandon Turner, the guy who, is famous for Bigger Pockets, I remember him always talking about, is like each one of these properties like a little oil well. And it's like you buy one and it's just pumping out oil. It's producing for you. And that's the same thing with these properties. Like the more you can acquire slowly over time or fast, then, we're just going to reap the benefits of it in several years, and it's going to be incredible. So that's not to toot our own horns or anything like that. It's just to say, like, start now, start buying buildings now, get in the game as soon as you can, do it safely, but be aggressive. And over time, the effects will compound. Yeah. And I'm excited. We haven't hit that compounding yet. We've bought several buildings, but whenever I see that, I'm excited for the compounding.
100%. Yeah, that's literally something my mentor and I discussed over, reviewing our yearly goals and stuff like that. He said, Jesse, all checks cash the same. I've got monthly stuff that comes in and it's $80 and I'm super happy. I got stuff that comes in at $5,000 a month. Super happy. It's just, you got to keep stacking them. And that compounding stuff eventually does hit. It does change. And eventually those stuff really changes your life. And I think it happens before you even realize sometimes.
For sure. And Todd Napola, a guy we interviewed who's awesome, super successful guy in Florida, said that it's like 5 years. I think he said like 5 years in is when you really start to see the benefits of owning commercial real estate. And we're at this point a little over a year and a half, right? Yeah, something like that. Probably like a year and a half in, which is awesome. So I'm excited. And kind of finishing that thought out, our plan is to find more buildings. And an update on that front, we made an offer on one last week. It's a sick property in the Triad. How much was it? 4 units, right?
4.
Yep. Yeah. 4 or 5 units. There was 5,000 square feet. Made an offer. They wouldn't give us a price. Made the offer. She said it was too low. But we're going to stay on that one. Hopefully we can get it. But yeah, we're looking for more deals actively.
Yep. Probably most of our properties that we've bought probably wound up getting them under contract months after we made the first offer. Sometimes it's just a verbal offer, right? It's like, hey, I'd love to buy it for $200,000, $300,000, whatever it is. And they're like, no, not right now. I'm not looking to sell. Follow up with me in 6 months. You call them 2 months later. And, that's just kind of how it goes in the commercial world. So if you're out there making offers, just keep making offers. One of them is going to stick, I promise.
For sure. And that actually reminds me of the 2 that were one we just closed last week and the other one we're in the process of buying. Both of those we started initial contact about the specific deal was over a year.
Yep.
The 5 unit we made an offer on over a year before, like now. And then the other one, it's funny. The other one we bought a building. 2 things is pretty cool. Not tooting my own horn, but I think it's hilarious thinking about me and Jesse. We met a property manager. I met a property manager like 2 years ago. I told him, send me any deals you have that are small. He sent me a little $250,000 deal. It's the first building we bought. Then after we bought that, I was like, you got anything else? Well, no, we were in the process. He's like, well, I got this other one. I was like, can we take a look at it? We walked into the building. There's an 18,000 square foot warehouse. I don't know if you remember this or not, Jesse, but I looked over at Jesse. I said, we're going to buy this building. And
I do, in the parking lot.
Yeah. And we went, I went back, talked to my tenant in my residential property and was like, hey, do you want to buy the property? He said, yes. And then I told the manager at the time, I said, we have a 1031, which we didn't at the time, but I went and initiated with my tenant. I sold my house to him. We 1031. Anyways, then we looked at this guy's portfolio of that building. We're like, this guy owns like 2 more buildings. And we looked up the address of the one we're buying now. And I was like, we're going to buy that building too. And here we are, we're under contract on it. Hopefully we'll close in a week or so. But yeah, that just reemphasizing the point that it takes time. It takes a lot of time. I like to think in my head, like, when you throw that first offer, you're like, all right, we're starting the clock. And it's like, if that clock's a year, if it's 2 years, whatever, you're starting now though. And you won't start that until you actually make an offer. Most people like think, oh, I don't know, I'm not going to make an offer because I don't want to insult them or whatever. But make the offer.
Yeah. I think that's one of the biggest things we learned from working with Nikita is you show them a building. What do you think? Hey, I think it's great. Offer them X, Y, Z. And like, it's almost immediate, is it not? Like I literally texted him
100%.
one on Friday and he texted me back it was on Friday after 5 when I texted him and he texted me back within the hour with what to offer. It's just like, that's how he's been so successful, whether he's doing it by
100%.
himself, et cetera, whatever, doesn't matter. Like he's making the offer. That's what makes him who he is.
100%. And that's a great point too, because yesterday I sent him a deal and 30 minutes later we sent an LOI for that deal, if you remember.
I do.
And then also this is a brokerage deal, but another good buyer we have, we sent him a deal on what, Friday? I think.
Oh yeah.
It was Friday.
While I was driving up, I was talking to him.
He wrote an offer within 10 minutes or something like that. Or he said, let's write an offer. I wrote the offer up. We sent it to him. We're under contract. That's a small little building. But I guess the point we're making is that like, there's so many indecisive people out there. So a competitive advantage that you can have is to be decisive.
True.
And it's like, once you get a couple of these buildings under your belt, you know what works and you know what makes money. And that's why it's important to have kind of a market. And there's people who are very successful, have lots of different markets, but we have a geographical area we focus in, and when we recognize, oh, that's, that price, that's going to be a good deal. Okay, that's going to rent for this. All right, well, we need to buy it for this price. And so we can go and tour, like this one that Jesse and I made an offer on last week. We were telling the lady, we were like, yeah, we toured it. We're like, yeah, we'll have you offer today. And she's like, oh, wow, okay. And we went back and wrote her an offer.
Yep.
And it's like, if you can act quickly, then that's such a good competitive advantage in commercial real estate because, especially if you're competing against big corporations and stuff, which we're not really because we're buying smaller stuff, but, we're the decision makers. It's just us. Yeah. And I love that.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. I really couldn't.
For sure, man. Well, I'm trying to think. I think the only other kind of big updates we got is as we mentioned, we're looking to hire somebody, and we've interviewed one, and we think we probably will do it. We're just trying to figure out the logistics of it, and that's going to be an exciting step for us, having kind of an executive assistant to help us out with all the stuff we're working on and hopefully grow.
Yeah, it'd be amazing. We're ready to buy back your time officially.
For sure. Yeah, if you haven't listened to Dan Martell's book, it's a great book. But you were about to say something a second ago.
Oh, I think shout out Dan Martell. But something like I did want to kind of touch on quickly because it just seems like we've had so many like very hard conversations with people. Like real estate is fun. It's amazing, but there's definitely a lot of like tough conversations that come with it. And whether it's like, honestly, it doesn't matter what you're working through. If you're a broker or if you're an owner and you're talking to a tenant that's been there for 30 years and they're paying $200 a year for rent or something crazy, which is as soon as like we come across like sometimes. But the simplest thing that I've learned, and Graham can probably speak to this better because he's had more of those tough conversations, you just got to be super honest and upfront and just tell them straight. I mean, that's pretty much what we say. I've had conversations the last week that were involved potentially suing somebody. And you just kind of like, as a broker and as a buyer, you just kind of have to tell them like, hey, dude, like this is what's going on. And I don't know how you're going to respond to this, but you need to know. And we want to work a deal together. And that's kind of the second piece to it is like, hey, we want to keep you as a tenant, or, hey, we want to make this deal happen. We still like it. But like, this is the situation that we've been put in, and like, we need to figure something out here. So, Graham, I'll let you add your flavor in there, but that's just a little tidbit, a little tip jar for people out there.
For sure. And just to clarify, Jesse and I are not suing anybody or being sued.
Oh, thank
just
you.
People we work with in the brokerage world. Things get dicey for sure. And I feel like that's another talking about competitive advantages. Like if you have the ability and, for lack of a better term, the balls to kind of just tell it how it is in a nice and respectful way, then that will definitely set you apart. Because there's a lot of people who dance around hard conversations, and sometimes there's no other way around it. Like, especially if you're the one buying the building and you got to, prime example, like if you buying a building and like Jesse said, the tenant's been there for 20 years and you're getting financing and you have to raise the rent to meet your financing needs because the bank literally won't finance it unless you get to a certain rate. Like, there's nobody who's going to come rescue you and have that conversation for you. You've got to do it. And we've had to do that before because, we buy a building, somebody's been there for 20 years and we're getting a loan like any commercial investor would. I mean, some people pay cash, but we're not there yet. You have to go have those types of conversations. And just, it's like, it's about being honest with somebody, having integrity, and just shooting them straight and not wasting any time. I feel like that's such a good, valuable lesson. I feel like there was something else I was going to say on top of that too, but this also same applies for like mistakes too. Like,
that's good.
I've had a lot of made a lot of mistakes in the brokerage world.
Yeah.
Jesse's made some mistakes too. And
100%.
And sometimes we'll have a conversation like, well, what should we do? And we're like, well, crap, we got to just say, hey, I messed up.
Own it.
And just own it immediately. And like, the sooner you do it, the better. And it sucks, but that works out way better than trying to hide it or do something else shady.
Yeah. 100%. I think that when you come with that amount of honesty and upfront, it's huge. I think that almost changes the whole dynamic of the conversation because like, well, at least this guy's telling me and he's not trying to hide anything. He's not, we haven't gotten like 3 weeks into this and he's going to tell me something that's going to change the whole conversation. Like it makes a huge difference for sure.
100%. I had one, like, this was like probably 4 years ago or something, or 5 years ago when I was early in my brokerage career. I made a decent mistake where I could have gotten probably in big trouble. And I just told the guy, I called him, I was like, God, this sucks. But I called him and just say, hey man, I made a really big mistake. I'm really sorry. And he's like, hey, I appreciate you being honest with me. And he wasn't even that mad. We closed the deal with him this last year. So people will definitely respect the honesty and the integrity. And that's another huge, competitive advantage. It's like, there's not a lot of, there's plenty of people who are honest, but I don't know, maybe not as many as you think. Being honest and transparent with people is a really big deal. And if you can do that in commercial real estate, you'll definitely win.
100%.
Especially when it's got the reputation like sales or brokerage or investing or, a landlord or a slumlord, quote unquote. Like, I've all got bad reputation. So if you can treat people with respect and honesty and integrity, then it's a whole other thing.
Yeah. Because that business comes back, right? Like it's not a residential, they bought their house, they're living for the next 30 years. You're probably never going to hear from them again. But in commercial, the guy that you're buying a building from, he might be wanting to buy another one. And whether you're a broker or you're out here a wholesaler or somebody like that, like as things come back around, repeat business is huge in commercial real estate. So relationships are everything as well.
100% on the brokerage side and the buying side. Like we're talking about buying buildings from people over and over again, repeat 100%. Business. And also cool. I think one of the cool things is one of the guys we bought so far 2 buildings from. We're now helping him buy other buildings.
Yep.
As a broker client. So pretty cool. Yep. Well, I think that's pretty much everything. Kind of just wanted to hop on here, give you guys a quick update of what's going on, what we're working on, how life's been. It's been crazy. 4 kids now. Biggest blessing ever. Definitely challenging. My wife and I are trying to figure out how I can get back to work, but also make sure I'm still helping her and supporting her. And it's been fun. Life is fun. I'm busy, but it's fun.
for everybody, real quick, I'll make it quick. Last week we toured a property and Graham wanted to come and I was like, well, dude, come on. And he's like, well, but I got to bring my 3 kids. And I said, I'll watch him. What's the worst that could happen? So we switched halfway through. I get back in the van and in the driver's seat. And I guess your second youngest goes, Daddy? And I'm like, well, Daddy will be right back. And Fisher immediately started crying. And I was like, uh-oh, let me go try to play with him or something. He was not having any of it. But it was still fun nonetheless. I think it's one of the brownie points.
For sure. It was like an older couple we were looking the building with. And I was like, hey, guys, like, sorry for the kind of odd situation, but we had our 4th a couple weeks ago. And, I wanted to come see the building. So Jess is going to jump in the car and I'm going to switch out. literally the seller starts talking to me, and like within seconds of Jesse getting in the car, I just hear my son start screaming. I was like, oh no. And he's telling me all this information and stuff, and I was trying to retain it, and I had nothing. I retained nothing because all I could think about was, dang, I got to get back to the car. But I went back to the car. He calmed down. Everything was good. The people were really friendly. They were happy that, I had the kids there. But you got to do what you got to do, right?
Yeah, that's right.
And hopefully we'll buy that building and we can tell that story. But so far we've been rejected on that one. We'll see.
Yeah, we'll get it. I have faith.
For sure. For sure. Awesome. Well, thank you guys for listening. We'll be back to our regular program next week, and we'll see you in the next one.
See you guys.